is right in the world again. But here we go, everybody. Bans in place already. Of course, 4 of the big bad 5, as I've been calling them. But that is an Umbreon first pick for Luminosity Gaming. Maybe we gotta start calling it the Sinister 6. Blaziken is still an option.
Yeah, Blaziken is still an option, and I think Luminosity would be very happy to see that go their way. But this just shows the strength of Umbreon. I mean, it has slowly crept up these draft boards, and now we're seeing it first pick, first position.
Dang. Wow, I really want to keep talking about this draft, but honestly, y'all are showing us too much love. We have so many people to shout out. I think Bridge has been absolutely crushing it in the chat by shouting out the Raiders and everybody. We've had raids from JL, Datboy, Mock, The Chad, Dispenza. Thank you all so much for bringing your communities in to watch some competitive Unite. We are right in the right in the midst of Unite Mike's Mayhem finals, and we are in the second match of the night. We have Blaziken, Umbreon, Bellissia on one side of things, and the Cramorant, Leafeon being locked in for Orange Juicers. Interesting.
I don't think we've seen Cramorant be selected less than 3rd so far, and that's only because we've seen it selected in that Blissey spot on the first pick team. Cramorant is just universally solid, right?
Yeah.
Just like always good now that it's been fixed and it's actually allowed in play. Unsurprising, though, that LG scooped up Blaziken. I mean, if it's not banned, it needs to be on a squad and picked early. And Luminosity getting Joey a prime pick like Umbreon and getting Blaziken seems like a difference maker.
Yeah, I think the only game so far tonight we haven't seen the Cramorant was game 1 of Nemesis versus Mighty Ducks because it was like a Venusaur versus Alolan Ninetales matchup, which was kind of crazy in and of itself. Yes. So, but hey, yeah, you're absolutely right. It is a Pokemon that has locked down its place in the metagame because of how exceptional it is, whether it's the damage front, the crowd control front, and of course, it just has that natural buff, you know, of not having to evolve, of being a Pokemon that is a single stage Pokemon. You're good from the start, you're good at the end. Oh, and we're going bird comp. 2 birds, 1 team.
Yeah, and Roland's got Mr. Mime with the specs on.
Okay.
Let's see if we can clap some traps out here. Luminosity rounding out with Espeon and what I presume to be a Scyther. Yeah. One of my least favorite Pokemon, and if there's one player on the planet that can make me shut my mouth about it, it's certainly Overlord, and we'll see them deliver here in the next 10 minutes, I'm sure.
Yeah, that is a tough matchup. I think Scyther is
a tough matchup for me.
Yeah.
Me versus whatever Overlord decides to play.
Yeah, it's a tough line in the sand you've drawn yourself, I'm so sorry to tell you. But I think it's a cool option. I think Mamoswine is crazy. I'm going to be talking so positively about Mamoswine.
It's really good.
For so long. It's really, really good. I like the way Zugrug is playing it too. We saw Ducky rock the Floatstone on it in the last time we saw it played. Hey, a lot of people like that Floatstone defenders, notably Joey and Ducky, to try to get those early invades a little more frequently. Zugrug, definitely not known for their aggressive playstyle as a defender by any means, a very reserved, more defensive-minded defender player. So they're going with that Muscle Band and the Focus Band, just very easy, solid, basic auto attacks. Reminder, every boosted auto attack from Mamoswine is getting that freeze effect, and then of course it just makes it easier to line up the rest of your crowd control. And when you're running double Speedster, anything you can do to tee up your 2 assassins is going to be huge.
I agree completely, and I am all down for the Mamoswine love. I'm a joy over that Pokemon. If it can get off and going, it's one of the most fun to watch for sure. But man, are those early stages sometimes tough to grind through. Zugrug, I'm not saying they're going to have a difficulty, but if there's a defender player that can do it, it's certainly there.
Okay. Interesting to see Lutano go into the top side of the map. I suppose they might change up their rotation a little bit in the near future, but Machisel does, I think, get 2 stacks in, potentially just 1. They will fall to the Torchic, that light screen, just a little too late from Roland to stop the momentum.
Yeah, and that's just a nice KO for the Torchic themselves, because they need that early experience, right? They want to get to 5 as quickly as possible, and now they have a little bit less work to do, of course. Roland moving in tandem with Leafeon, that's not a bad look. Machisel just trying to rip through what they got. Flareon's good support downstairs. We're throwing down the Whirlpools here, and it looks like we've got a Scyther not quite hitting that decision point yet, but I imagine it would stay so.
Yeah, what a strange rotation from Luminosity, right? Like, we have the Scyther and the Torchic in path, and then, of course, we're just trying to set up this Espeon who's playing it really safe so far on the top side. But it'll be Joey and Overlord here on the bottom side, joined by Lutano for a moment.
Just Joey hanging out and really hoping that Overlord secures some of that stuff so they can evolve here. And of course, they put them up to a task that they are successful in. They get to kick over to Umbreon. And again, the bizarre rotation out of Luminosity continues. And Orange Juicers, admittedly, adjusting fairly well until Flareon just got picked by Overlord in the bottom path.
Yeah, it's actually a 2 KO in the bottom side. Look at the score. Leafeon might be able to defend, but it's Otter versus Roll in the top side. Kratos, it's close to the KO, but no Unite move. But hey, one boosted Otter with Chlorophyll full will get that knockout.
Yeah, and that's kind of the detriment of Scyther. It almost seems like a squishier Leafeon in some cases, and right there it was just a quick little pop and a shove, and they go down. Now, we have the ugliest Pokemon on the planet looking to evolve quickly, and I hope they do for the sake of our bleeding eyes right now as they're working through these middle Swablu and Altaria, but a lot of players on Luminosity there for support.
Yeah, it's interesting. When you run these double speedster compositions, getting these safe farm or these big open areas are actually a little bit terrifying to go into, right? Your Dodrio or Leafeon get caught out by Umbreon, you get pulled by a Blaziken, all of a sudden it's just a quick KO the other direction. They would much rather take some more 1v1s, play off the flanks, and things like that. So these wild Pokemon tend to just be like teeing up the game plan more often. You can see what Orange Juicers are trying to do there. They try to pull JL, and Roland also trying to play like a speedster.
Nice little trap, but the two-step instantly folds Lutano like laundry, and now all of the Juicers are still standing. They're going in for some scores quickly. They're going to try and get some stacks in, as that goal zone is immediately left at 11. It's going to go down to 3, another 1 in, and we've got fully stacked action as well for the Juicers.
Yeah, huge. I mean, obviously the bottom side of the map from Zogrog and Flareon didn't exactly go the way they wanted, but hey, top side looking immaculate, and that's where your damage carries are. That is where it's important to be. However, Registeel's already started getting hit. Zogrog trying to make their way in, Roland there for the blockage.
Yeah, and they stun Umbreon very quickly, pin them against the wall. We'll see if this cram Flareons can close the door as they try to get the spacing, but Joey's caught again. On the backside, we've got some action, and it's really just Overlord and Lutano trying to secure this Registeel before it's too late. And wow, that was a very close confusion blast out of Roland. Regieleki flying towards the goal zone, and the fight rages on. We're trying to scrap it out, but Chisel's getting in the face of 2, and it looks like they might actually bail and just try and poach all this central area farm.
Yeah, exactly. Again, the speedster composition, they're not locked down to that very straightforward gameplay pattern that you might see from either a Brawl or a Poke composition, right? They can play these flanks, they can steal that farm, they can get little scores here, little scores there, and still be a relevant factor on the other side of the map, because Dodrio can just be over there all of a sudden. There's no clearly telegraphed portal or anything like that, but Chisel just makes the enemy central their home to Trailblaze.
That is without a doubt. Orange Juicers giving Luminosity a little bit of a wake-up call, of course, with a tall glass of OJ real quick, because they're up 174 to 35. That's a great lead, and they're moving around this map really well, Zoinks. They feel like they're in a little cohesive unit. Nice Scyther Unite, this might be a place to start. Flareons goes down quickly. Zugrog is still that big old pile of dirty laundry. We're moving forward. The two-step comes out. Nice Bliss Assisted support, and all of a sudden, Luminosity is smothering this goal zone. They got a real chance, as Zugrog is trying to put up the fight of their lives, but they are unsuccessful, and this is a great opportunity for an overdunk, and the score line shrinking.
Yeah, big overdunk there for Luminosity. It's a huge play. It's what they were looking for. They really needed some kind of momentum fuel back in their direction. Big shout out to JL on that Blissey to save Overlord in that Scyther situation. You mentioned that the Scyther and the Leafeon can kind of be compared as two speedster assassins before. I think the difference that kind of becomes between those two, where they sort of break away from the Venn diagram, is their Unite moves. Emerald two-step is an amazing immediate shot to take out one individual target, whereas instead you have Green Illusion Dive, which is, it's great at taking out one, but it's even better if we could take multiple. But so far Overlord hasn't really found the spot for that yet.
Well, they have certainly found, Lutano has certainly found Machisel right there with a quick little two-step of its own, a little bit less flashy, not jump taking to the sky, but really moving them foot. Moving them foot?
Moving them foot. Yep, foot, boot, that's the same thing.
Foots in chat.
Okay.
Foots in chat.
Don't put foots in chat. Alright, that is a Reggie trade either direction. Overlord able to solo the one on the bottom side. Regieleki on their way to that tier 2. I heard typing, and I was like, he's either going to get mad at me in DMs, or he's going to type foots in chat in Discord. It's one or the other. Here we go, Doomspecs.
Tons of action and Showtime Spirit Fingers to kick this off. We got the Razor Leafs down, finally pulled through for a KO streak of 2. Luminosity's got their back against the wall. Lutano's trying to withstand, they can't. Next one's Overlord, but he's finding everybody in the kitchen sink. Zugrug and Overlord scrapping out. Zugrug's gonna quickly put some points in, trying to grab some more because they know they're gonna get cascaded upon. They can't get any more points in. So what was a crazy foray is Overlord saying, Scyther, don't you know, Kirk? Scyther God out here. KO streak of 4 and making it look good for the first time I've ever seen.
All right. I mean, I don't want to brag.
Good.
I don't want to brag, but Zoink's talking for way too long about how Scyther's Unite move is great for taking down multiple targets, and then Overlord, of course, listening into chat and doing it immediately. That's true love. So thank you, Overlord, for influencing exactly my point in the fight to follow. Fantastic to see. I mean, of course, if Scyther can get resets off of those little illusions created around the Unite move, they just start burning through anybody in their face. Big, unfortunate part for LG, though, is that Orange Juicers were able to get that huge dunk in thanks to the Regieleki. Mamoswine makes that play. Zugrug got a pretty slow rotation to join that fight. They needed to get 9, but once they get there, they're able to dunk 40 in, and OJ hold on to their substantial point lead.
Let me clarify something. Uzi said Dubsac's officially not a Scyther doubter anymore. That's not true. I'll doubt Scyther as the day is long. The lesson is never doubt Overlord on whatever character they pick. That's the difference here. That's the difference. It's the Overlord diff. The Overlord diff.
Alright, fine. I thought Scyther did pretty well there, but it's fine, it's fine.
You mean Overlord did really well? The best player on the planet did good things, curveball.
Yeah, alright, fair enough. Alright, Reggie's traded yet again. It's a basement Reggie going in the favor of Luminosity Gaming. Orange Juicers are going to have that Regieleki. Double Speedster, a Pokemon that are a composition that's very good at getting those back caps, but Zugrug's got an eject button already. Dodge a lot of that damage at half HP, no Hooper to bring you back. That's going to be the go button for LG as they start poking Ray a little bit.
Nice little wall by Roland to try and break up the flow of things. Going straight at them is the Umbreon. Joey wants that action, pops their Unite move. They're trying to get on top of Roland, who's doing a great job. We've got the Gulp and Gatling missile going all over the face of Luminosity as the Juicers are in this thing. And quickly secured by Lutano on an overheat. And all of a sudden, Luminosity, who was distracting us up top, pulls it all through. Nice Bliss Assist for the sustain. The shields are there. They just got to get those burgers in, and it's already started.
Oh my gosh, Roland doing everything they can to stop that score. They do stop the Espeon, but I think that's going to be the only, yeah, that's actually crazy. I think that is the only Pokemon that they're going to be able to stop the score, but that might be relevant. We're looking at a scoreline of 513 to 432 with only a minute left in this match. Less than a Hundo Burger separates these two teams. There is still a chance at victory from the Orange Juicers, and Luminosity Gaming are going to have to fight to hold on to this lead, and they're going to have to do it without Overlord, but that score from Joey is huge.
They actually see that Overlord's down, and they know the timer is gargantuan, and this is their window. So they're all moving together here. Who's going to be sent on the mission downstairs to try and draw some of the attention away? Machisel being around is not a bad look, but they're still down by oodles of points, right? They need like 170 or something, 180. So let's get after it. Zugrug needs to lead the space and need to create space, but they're going for the score. They're stopped by an easy Egg Bomb. The rest of the Orange Juicers are biding their time, but they're running out of it. Ice Fang to reposition. Overheat there, eject over the wall, not a KO. Now we have the Cram Unite to cover the pad. Going right in with their Unite move is Joey. They're unfazed, unafraid. Machisel uses their Unite move to get on the backside before players are down in a heartbeat. They'd even try and get some points in, Zoinks, and Luminosity is going to walk away with game 1.
Dang, they needed Unite moves more than anything. You'd see they were kind of dragging their feet towards those goal zones, trying to farm up as quick as they can. I think maybe you take out Overlord, you start feeling a bit of desperation that there's one gatekeeper less at those enemy goal zones. You gotta run it, but they're gonna fall a little bit short. Luminosity Gaming, on the other hand, stepping up and taking this series to a 1-0 lead with a Scyther.
With a Scyther, with an Overlord. That's what I'll call the difference here. But, I mean, just a great set across the board. Roland was really making that mime their own. They looked like they were just across the map. They were creating space. They were creating opportunities. I don't know if the Juicers found, those opportunities or were able to capitalize on them. But mime, to me, was not the issue. Mamoswine, to me, was not the issue. I felt like Flareon's was uncharacteristically silent that game. I feel like Kratos was uncharacteristically silent that game, which are normally two players that you can almost follow around the map and like, oh, they're doing good stuff there, good stuff there, good stuff there, and really kind of track them throughout the course of the game. So I definitely want them to, I don't think they need to step up, but to see them show out a little bit in the fashion that we're used to out of those two players.
Yeah, I can get on board with that. It felt like, to me, Orange Juicers just played a lot more of a macro-intensive game. It's just that their team fights didn't match up to the amount of rotating they were trying to do,
True.
right? We were like, okay, they're going to that objective, we go to this objective. They are defending that goal zone, we'll score at this one. We'll defend this goal zone when we see them pushing here, blah, 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 right? It was very good adaptations and rotations. It's just, when it came down to the, I don't know, the brass tacks, just the good old team fights, it felt like they were a little shy on actually finding a way to cross that finish line against Luminosity Gaming, because I mean, this Scyther going basically 1v4 on that enemy goal, defending their own goal zone was kind of crazy. And then of course that final team fight, Dodrio's backcapping, which fine, we unlocked it with the Regieleki, right? We're good stuff there. But I mean, everywhere else, Luminosity Gaming was kind of taking W's. Roland did have some big hero moments, but they eventually had to bail. They just had to recall back to base. No healing supports on Orange Juicers in that situation. You're going confusion mime or confusion walls, which gives you no supporting HP options. A lot of recalling, a lot of awkward situations for OJ because of that.
Yeah, so you're right, and I don't want to speak to the lack of healing too much. I think that's kind of self-evident, right? But what I want to shout out is, Orange Juicers having a difficult time in kind of the heads-up team fights. But in that last Ray fight, all the credit in the world to Joey there, because they caused pandemonium above the Ray pit to the point where everybody on the Juicers pivoted the wrong way, and essentially they just took their eye off the ball. Like the fight didn't even really happen, right? Because everybody was so preoccupied with the static that that Joey was causing, right? He was just rubbing his feet on the floor and then touching people and just zapping them. And they're like, we got to deal with this. And he was just being a nuisance, when in reality, they didn't have to worry about them at all. Like we saw Roland throw up a couple walls, try to fend them off, and they were just pushing forward, using their Unite move proactively rather than Umbreon Unite, which is normally reactive. And the whole time they were just all pressing B around the pit, like maybe they won't show up. And then by the time they realized what was going on, it's a clean overheat for Lutano and a win. So the Juicers, buckle down. Let's see another great game here in game 2, and let's solidify up those team fights.
Yeah. I think you're right that like the lack of healing is not really a relevant factor in a composition like that, like because you're running that double speedster, like you're gonna have time to heal a Leafeon before it's knocked out, like in this situation sometimes it's neither here nor there. But I do think seeing a big change up in draft from Orange Juicers might be necessary here going into game 2. You pull out a pretty wild card strategy in that game number 1. Not only is it double assassin, it's also no heal, so there's a lot of mix-ups there. I do think you should go back to something a little more straightforward in game number 2. Draft is going to be the same sides. Orange Juicers have chosen to remain on that second pick position. So Luminosity Gaming choose first pick in game 1. Orange Juicers elect to stay second pick in game 2. Interesting world we're in. I mean, maybe Umbreon really is that strong. And I mean, game after game, how long am I going to really think that Umbreon isn't truly back? Because it feels crazy good again.
It is really good. You're not wrong. It's just the matter of fact, it is very good. We saw how good it is in that game, in that Ray fight. We just mentioned it. I would like to see the Juicers switch up. Let's talk about Roland for a second. They have literally played every single role in this game at a high competitive level, and you can see how passionate and how quickly they're developing in this new role. I mean, obviously, best team in North America, right? The region winning team. Off of them in a role switch, that was a nasty mind game. You would have thought they've been playing that thing since day one. Really kind of elevating the bar in terms of play compared to the other teammates in that game. So I really want to tip the cap to Roland. Always forced to switch, always put in precarious situations with their teams by hook or by crook, but they find a way to make the team that they're on relevant, and you can't knock them for that. And yeah, Being putting in chat, you could say he's good at rolling with the punches. Damn right. Damn right.
Damn right. Yes, exactly. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Orange Juicers are honestly a really interesting team to me, right? Rolling with so many role swaps. Zugrug, a legend of the game. Flareon's a rookie this season. Machisel, I truly think fits the bill of a wild card in every sense of the word. And
Reminds me of Nudo.
Okay, yeah, a little bit. Yeah, with like kind of those off-kilter picks. I think you're definitely right. And then of course you got Kratos, who has been extremely successful player. Made it to Worlds in Season 1. In Season 3, of course, they are leading the charge for NA at Worlds. So, I don't know. Lots of very exciting stuff up and coming. Yet another raid, by the way. Thank you so much to Angela for the raid. Hope your viewers enjoy the Unite Mike's Mayhem tournament action that is happening right now that I forgot to change the screen.
No worries. So we've got our bands in. Joey, right back to the Umbreon, but unsurprising. Slowbro, Mimikyu, Charizard, Cerulege, which means the Juicers are again going to have the opportunity to go into the Blaziken well if they want, but they don't. They want that Leafeon, and they're putting Roland on Blissey this go-around. We'll see what Luminosity is going to do to react, but I mean, it feels so tough to peel away from Blaziken. It really does.
It does. I mean, yeah, it should just be Lutana running by Blaziken 2 games in a row, in my opinion. But maybe this is the call-out. Like, oh, OJ, you don't get a Blaziken player? Then fine, we'll play it. But obviously, Machisel, a very accomplished Blaziken player. This Leafeon must be crushing it in NA scrims. Like, this Leafeon must be doing so good in North America scrims, because now we have seen 2 teams in a row just hard lock it again and again. And this Orange Juicer's doing it even after a loss. So very impressive.
Yeah, and notably selecting Leafeon above Blaziken, which is, as you mentioned, one of the air quotes, top 5 big bads out here. But Luminosity has a great opportunity to react. Obviously, they're choosing Blaziken Cramorant. Otter would just play this character ad nauseum, right? As soon as it's there, like, who cares? Giving JL a Hoopa, like, it seems like we're just playing the greatest hits out here. And Overlord, we'll see how they want to gap this time around, right?
Yeah. I'm actually kind of surprised they didn't take the Dodrio. Of course,
Me too.
3 birds on 1 composition, you know what I mean? But wanting a bit more of melee aggression to go into this double support composition, also not a terrible play there. Gyarados having a lot of verticality with that bounce move, so you can get out of some of that Mr. Mime defender action, but it'll be Machisel picking up the Gyarados. And there's one thing that I've noticed about Machisel is that this pick always seems to come out when there is a Gyarados on the other side. They love this individual matchup, and they run it down almost every time. It seems like Machisel, one of those players that definitely likes to pick their option always on what the opponent is going to be putting top path. That's why you almost always see Machisel in last pick position in their drafting screens.
That's maybe why the Juicers just like to be there, right? Have like the whole texture of what this match can look like, and let Machisel be kind of like you said, that wild card, right? Like, giving Machisel a great pick here could be the difference maker. So if you always put them last, you give them the biggest opportunity to be impactful.
Of course. Yeah, and it's a player that is flexible enough to warrant something like that, right? We've seen Metagross, Gyarados, of course, Garchomp, and then, of course, the infamous Machamp. Yeah, I may or may not have a side bet going on with Spreggles about if Machisel plays Machamp at the World Championships or not. Look forward to that. Something about 10 gifted or something. We'll see.
Something about 10 gifted. No money will be exchanging hands, and nobody is actually betting on Pokemon Unite.
Correct.
Let the record show. Yeah, As we're going into Game 2 between Luminosity, Orange Juicers, Unite Mike's Mayhem, Season 5, Finals Week, Match number 2. Let's get after it.
All right, Joey and Otter are going to be holding down this path yet again. The Umbreon worked out exceptionally well in last game, and despite Umbreon being one of the more slower to scale early game defenders, it actually kind of popped off in this last match's early game. That could be in part, though, Overlord hanging out in the bottom path quite a bit on their Scyther.
Well, we just immediately saw, I believe that's Lutano trying to jump in and see what they secure here. Zugrug is going to show how you play a mime. Putting down the walls, can't quite slap it around yet. Uses the boosted auto. still gets it out from Overlord, and Leafeon is there to just clean up the trash. Nice K opener for the Juicers. No way Otter gets this done. Come on, Otter. Oh, they're bound to the razor's edge. A whirlpool and a berry, and Otter stands tall.
Dang, I mean, that was about as close as you could make it. Just a little bit of whirlpool tick damage is going to be Kratos' undoing. Criminal stuff from Otter that they're able to walk away from that team fight, but great punish. I mean, if you're going to be aggressive in the early game into the enemy central area, that's exactly how you have to adapt as a team. Bring your damage dealer from either side, swing in, earn that KO, remove all that EXP lead.
Immediately going for the bodies of the Juicers. They're putting tons of damage and they have player advantage. Joey is trying to scrap back in front. Nice reposition. And now there's 2 players down for the Juicers. Otter gets credit for 2 more. They're leading the pack here. And Otter's Cramorant is getting gargantuan, brother.
Yeah, level 6 already. Joey absolutely crushing it on this Umbreon. And now it's going to be Lutano taking a little bit of damage. Machisel's Metang really hurting in this early moment of the matchup. Level 6 already, keeping pace with Otter's Cramorant on the bottom side.
Roland just hanging out being a menace as the ugliest Pokemon on the planet rolls over to assess the situation. They do get bullied out away from the Scavalier, and Otter comes in for the cover. Going right to those 8-minute birds is the rest of the Juicers here, as we are scrapping it out a little bit. Nice engage by Lutano. They're finally hitting Gyarados, but it's Otter getting credit yet again. Matang tries to jump in. They at least sort out Lutano, but that's really not the prize anymore. The Golden Goose is quite literally the bird Pokemon Cramorant, and Otter, their trainer.
A waterfall Gyarados. Very interesting. You do not see this Pokemon very often, but I guess trusting in Cramorant and Blaziken to be the brawl damage that you really need to kind of play this Gyarados in a more assassin-minded way. Waterfall is amazing at making sure that no one ever escapes getting KO'd. We've all had those moments, you get that big engage, you do some damage, but they just barely make it away. That just simply doesn't happen when you're playing Waterfall. It will chase you down to the ends of the earth.
And in that case, Machisel just stepped out into the deep water and realized it's a couple water-type Pokemon. There's somebody that can light the oily water on fire, and Overlord. They've got everybody in the kitchen sink there, and it's a 4v2. Regieleki's there. We're going to try and get clever. Here comes Kratos on the Leafeon. They can't secure. They go straight for the 2-step right to the back line, but they are absolutely decimated. Reduced by 1/10. Call it 2/5. Whatever decimate actually means. As we're popping them Unite, we're trying to make it to our side of the map. Flareon starts through. There's a portal there, and they are gone off the back of JL. Regieleki hits, and the points are going to start going in.
Is that an eject button dive? I don't know. Otter just makes it look like Cramorant is being limit tested every second that it's in lobby. It is absolutely absurd. Lutano going to attempt to score, but will mostly be taking that portal back home. Will not be recalling through it. No glowing lights means that no flying fish will be re-emerging from that option. And now we have Orange Juicers taking that basement objective. That Reggie will go their way. I believe it was Reg Ice for their team. And now we kind of have a flip up of the strategy from these two teams. Regieleki going in the favor of Luminosity, and Orange Juicers the one taking that basement Reggie. So again, these teams very willing to change up their strategy on the fly for wherever they feel is going to benefit them the most in the moment.
Immediately diving in as Roland is like, I'll take a berry and I'll try to egg bomb this out, but I am not going to be successful. They're peeling back. A big 2-step out of Kratos downstairs, and they're trying to make it happen. They get a couple, does Luminosity, and who else but Otter? This seems to be their game, front, right, and center. Give them a third one as Machisel's just running away. The big steel type getting pinned against the wall. The overheat misses, but the rest of them don't. 4-pack, the 4-for-4 Wendy's special into Otter's hands, and finally, if they just back away, they are taking the biggest W here. Don't give any of that XP back, but take from them everything.
Yeah, Otter heard that the 4-for-4 now includes Saucy Nugs, and they went all in. I'm such a big fan. Also, they don't have the 4-for-4 anymore, and it makes me devastated amounts of sad. But here we go. Regieleki on the top side, only Lutano.
Anti-shout-out to Wendy's, unless you want to sponsor this, then huge shout-out to Wendy's.
It's just the biggest two-pronged approach, because they got rid of the best deal ever in fast food, but also gave me Saucy Nugs. And Saucy Nugs freaking rule. Spicy garlic parm is the play. Lutano forcing the play on this Regieleki towards the enemy goal zone. Metagross trying to hold it down for a moment. Let's see, Metagross, that's a pretty tough wall, but it seems that Luminosity Gaming might be poised to take the offense even into this push.
Yeah, they've got some Unite moves, especially that Gyarados Unite. They're going straight forward. It's popped right there for tons of value. 2 players down for the Juicers, 1 on LG, and now they're trying to use that Metagross Unite again. They put Otter in the Coliseum, and that turns into a mausoleum real quick. But that is not enough work out of the Juicers, is it though? Holy! Luminosity loses another member, and Machizel's finding their mark. The Regieleki does hit, so we're getting a lot of value. We're picking up more points, and we want to close this goal zone out. They're successful. So what an exchange and what a W out of that push from LG.
That is criminal. I mean, Joey walking all over them. I'm surprised he didn't spin on them in that kind of moment. Unite move just to dunk in 23 more. I mean, that's supreme Joey energy. And I, for one, am here for it.
Yeah, well, that was Supreme JL getting KO'd energy. His Orange Juicers cobbles together a push of their own, and they're able to at least get JL here in the quest to close that goal zone. But really, Luminosity still feels in control. Otter getting buckled there, no bueno, as now we're moving to the middle, and Machizel's kind of heating up. They're level 12, and now actually bigger than Lutano.
Yeah, I mean, level-wise, I think they're in an okay position. I mean, we need to do some work on the Mew, but everybody else is kind of in an okay spot right now. It is just that scoring tempo they have not really been able to catch up on. They've been losing the majority of these objectives, and the score pressure has been on from the get-go of Luminosity Gaming. So things are looking a little brighter, but it's tough to call it anything but bleak right now. They got a minute left to prepare for the most important fight of the entire match. But we're going to have one precursor, a teaser, if you will, around this Regieleki.
Yeah, nice engagement by Joey, seeing Zugrug immediately, sussing them out, Otter moving straight at them, no fear in their heart. As Gyarados is moving too, they're able to bully out Machizel a little bit. That's a late Mime Unite, trying to get some value out of it, and at least Otter is knocked out. They'll be back in time for Ray, as the rest of Luminosity might be overextending their welcome here. Nice charged up overheat. Can they sort out the KO? They do. Mime is down, Roland is down. Nice blinked out of existence. JL, one of the best Hoopas moving, showing it again. Nice engagement by Joey, catching two, resetting Machizel, forcing out their Unite move. I think they want to make this the Ray fight. We're going straight into the Umbreon Unite. We're on the backside. The whole Luminosity team is split. Great Bliss assistance on Machizel. They're going to keep moving forward. The Mew Unite is out, but Flareon needs to find value. Electro Ball into Joey is not the target they want. Otter topped off on full HP, but they're getting collapsed on and caught. They're able to get through the wall. They're trying to get into the pit. They are. They popped their Cram Unite. They're finding all the targets, forcing all of the Juicers to run away.
Oh, sick eject button from Otter, actually dodging those latent Razor Leaves from the Leafeon of Kratos as they were running away. They were trying to set up the perfect angle to catch them right at the end as they were backing up, but Otter able to dodge that with the eject. They have to spend that Unite move as a big get-off-me tool, but at least they created a little bit of space, and that could have gotten hairy. You were right, Orange Juicers forcing that fight, a very good decision, but now they got a lot of Unite moves to earn back. The only Unite move on Luminosity's side at the moment, though, will of course be that Hoopa,
which allows them to get a little froggy with how they pressure goal zones, right, if they want to. But right now, it looks like they're going to play it straight up. Orange Juicer's looking for a way in, and the onus is on them to make some magic happen. Machizel straight into the Ray Pit, so Joey sees them, and Joey's been aggressive before. They've been aggressive this game, but they're popped against the wall. Is this the moment? Nice Electro Ball. Their HP pool is just buckled. Caught on the wall, right to the Unite move. They're kept from resetting. Great engagement by Machizel, splitting the team up. Everybody's low on HP now, forcing out the Rings Unbound. They're trying to stun down Zugrug, who's trying to get out of dodge, but Machizel has their target on Overlord. They want to step up. Zugrug needs to get their pop for the KO. 3 players down instantly for the Juicers. That overheat was gargantuan out of Lutano. Excuse me, not out of Lutano. What am I talking about?
He was
out of Overlord. They're moving forward, and the whole team is. Now they're just scoring a ton of points. The Juicers thought they had their target pinned, but they lose sight of them for just a moment, and they catch the meanest receipt.
It's crazy that in a team fight where Joey is just locked down by every form of crowd control and eventually KO'd, they were one of the most relevant factors because all of the resources went into trying to knock out that Umbreon, and Luminosity Gaming are going to take this thing in 2 games as they take it down 2-0, protect their ironclad lead, and honestly, just completely outfight the Orange Juicers in that final match.
That was banana lands. Otter, what a game. And those first 10 KOs literally felt like they were in the first 5 minutes, right? Like, holy smokes, dude. They looked so good. Otter was on one. And really, I'll be honest, they needed it because Lutano was having a hard time getting the Gyarados going. Overlord was securing everything, but wasn't as big of a factor until that final fight as I would have liked to see. JL, Characteristically silent. Usually we always have at least one or two huge, Hoopa plays to highlight. Joey, again, their Umbreon is looking up to snuff. I'm so happy this player has another Pokemon to pick besides Trevenant, so we see them just grooving. Juicers, though, back to the drawing board. I'm not too sure how you can spell what just happened out, but Zoinks, maybe you can take a look and break that down for me.
Yeah, sure. No instant replay, unfortunately, for me to work with, but obviously, we had Machisel and Roland pull off a fantastic play with that Metagross, and, of course, the Mr. Mime to lock down that Umbreon for quite a while, eventually earn themselves that KO. But while that entire fight is going on, it is Overlord and Lutano and that Blaziken and Gyarados, respectively, just taking flanks, forcing 1v1s, doing what LG does best, and just intentionally going into situations where they can mechanically outplay you. It was absolutely huge. And of course, I just wanted to give one shout out, if I may, Dube Snacks. We have a very special guest in chat.
Of course.
Former Luminosity Gaming, I think current Luminosity Gaming member, Kyrios, and it's his birthday in a week. So happy birthday, Kyrios, in a week. Everybody
Is that the criminal Kyrios?
The criminal
Notable
Kyrios.
criminal Kyrios?
Notable, not actually a felon, but kind of a felon, Kyrios. Everybody in chat, make sure to say happy birthday to Kyrios. But okay, awesome. Folks, we have the final match of the night coming up very soon. It is going to be... Yeah.
Zoinks. When we go to break, Zoinks. Throw up the Ingage video as our break screen.
Okay, for the whole time. Yep, sounds good. All right, we will be right back. Don't go anywhere. Okay, great. I'll throw the break screen.